If you've never been to New Jersey, you might be confused by one of our most popular road signs. All turns from right lane. Well, this sign causes a lot of confusion to those not from the Garden State. And why wouldn't it? My name is Evan Edinger, and today I'm asking the question on all of your minds. Why can't you turn left in New Jersey? Depending on what state you're from, you might be somewhat familiar with this bit of road infrastructure. This here is a jug handle, or at least one type. These do exist on the rare road throughout the US, but in New Jersey, they're everywhere, albeit inconsistently. You could be on one stretch of New Jersey road and experience a reverse jug handle, and then up ahead, a left turn lane, and then after that, another jug handle, making it nearly impossible to predict what lane you need to be in when you want to turn left. A jug handle is essentially an extra ramp or side road that allow drivers to take an indirect left turn by first going right. In most states, 3 rights make a left. In New Jersey, just one. The New Jersey Department of Transportation classifies 3 different types of jug handle. The most popular is Type A. This is a ramp to the right of the road before the intersection. Type B, this one, is essentially a right ramp that allows you to take a U-turn across traffic. And finally, Type C is the one that most out-of-state drivers are familiar with from their highways. This one goes past the intersection and then loops back around to go through the intersection the other direction. This is most similar to the standard 4-leaf clover figuration seen on most US interstates. No matter the type of jug handle, the goal is the same. Remove all the left-turning cars from the flow of traffic by routing them off to the right. Okay, I hear you. Why? You ever have one of those traffic scenarios where so many vehicles are in the left turn lane, or possibly a big tractor trailer or lorry, that they overflow into the other lanes, causing traffic to worsen, and drivers merely wanting to go straight have to wait for the left turners? Well, jug handles alleviate that problem. That and these safety bonuses too. In the 1950s, New Jersey's chief highway planner, Aputure, had a problem. You see, too many people were driving down the shore on Route 35, and that was causing a lot of congestion and, worse, accidents. Suburban sprawl had really exploded since the post-war boom. So Otto suggested a jug handle approach as a way to solve this shore traffic flow, and within a few years, his idea took flight. By 1959, the first ever jug handle was installed in Montville on Route 46, and within the same year, Route 22 and also Route 35 had their own jug handles installed. After a good year, there were over 160 different jug handles throughout the state, which really shows the confidence that the engineers had in the jug handle's efficacy. And Bloomberg reports that by 2013, New Jersey, a very small state, had about 600 different jug handles. One of the most dangerous accidents you can get in is a T-bone, in which you hit another car at a right angle. And that happens the most at, you guessed it, left turns. So by removing the left turn lane on some of these highway intersections, you're speeding up the flow of traffic by removing that entire signal change of the left turn arrow, and you're preventing more T-bone accidents. And I do put highway in quotes because so many of the normal roads in New Jersey are actually designed more like highways. I do feel like there's a missing middle in New Jersey besides housing in terms of road infrastructure. Where are the streets? Where are the roads? And obviously there exist many developments in New Jersey that do have a street infrastructure. Haddonfield is one of them, but most are just highways with houses on the side. Not really great. You're gonna have to have cars like pulling off to the right to try and get to their house, and that's gonna slow down traffic, but it's just not good. But this isn't just anecdotal data. In 2013, a Federal Highway Administration study found that jug handles resulted in a 26% decrease in accidents involving fatalities or serious injuries compared to the more conventional intersections. And depending on the type of jug handle, they also achieve a 20 to 40% higher intersection capacity in full saturation traffic conditions. And in some designs, converting a left turn to a right turn maneuver via a reverse jug handle increased the capacity of the intersection by 5 to 15%. So pretty good for traffic flow. But besides these positives, Jughandles are actually a lot more space efficient as well. Usually when an intersection has a lot more traffic that wants to take a left turn, the usual American solution is to just add another lane. But that can be incredibly costly, widening an entire area of a highway. Usually it involves buying out the properties that are next door, which could be residences, which could be strip malls, businesses. It's just another example of needing to destroy more neighborhoods for the sake of more car infrastructure. Whereas when it comes to a Jughandle, you only need the small corner to the right of the intersection. So that saves like space and money. Jughandles really couldn't survive in many areas around the world, but they really thrive on the large, wide suburban stroads that plague New Jersey. If you think about it, Jughandles really are the making the best of a bad road design sort of situation. But there are some cons. Land around a Jughandle is hard to use for homes or shops, and that wasted space is just one of the many trade-offs of ever-widening car infrastructure. And yes, the most dangerous type of accident is less likely, but due to the confusion, particularly from out-of-state drivers, the existence of Jughandles can increase more speedy, riskier maneuvers to get into the correct lane. Especially for certain Jughandle designs, the simple left turn might take significantly longer and involve a driver having to go through the original intersection multiple times just to take their left turn. Plus, if they did want to take a right turn after said left turn, that sometimes involves having to cross multiple lanes of traffic, which can be quite dangerous done in such a short time period. And hey, finally, no surprise here, Jughandles weren't designed with pedestrians or cyclists in mind. So usually, crossing a street with a Jughandle involves a pedestrian needing to go through even more fast-moving traffic, oftentimes without a crosswalk. That's why in Great Britain, for instance, Jughandles like the one behind me in Bagshot are incredibly rare. This intersection actually has two Jughandles, a Type A and a Type C. But as opposed to saying all turns must be from the right lane, this is England, so all turns must be from the left. This Jughandle here allows drivers going south down the A322 to turn left in order to turn right, because, you know, they drive on the wrong side of the road here. And this Jughandle allows drivers coming up New Road to first pass the intersection before looping back around to take the right turn they originally wanted. In both the US and the UK, getting off a motorway usually involves taking a slip road that takes you to a bridge or an underpass, because the roads are at different levels. That's why usually to get off a highway, you have to go up and around. However, this Jughandle here in Bagshot has the A322 and New Road meeting at the same level, so a Jughandle design actually fits here perfectly. No underpass and no bridge needed. But regardless of the pros and cons, it's no secret New Jerseyans love Jughandles. As someone who grew up in the state, I'd say this is probably related to another New Jersey law that most other states only have as a recommendation. You must keep right except to pass. New Jerseyans drive insanely fast in the left lane, or the fast lane, and the idea of having left-turning traffic slow them down probably upsets many New Jerseyans. Whereas a Jughandle puts all those people on the right, making the fast lane stay a fast lane for faster commuting times. But not every New Jerseyan loves Jughandles. In 2013, James Woodapple, or rather James Holtzapfel, one of the state senators, he brought a bill to the state Senate banning the construction of new Jughandles throughout the state. His argument was that modern traffic volumes have outgrown the Jughandles design. He pointed out that many Jughandles, the dedicated loop ramp overflows with cars waiting to turn, which leads to situations where they back up onto the main road, or worse, the cars end up being partway in and out of the intersection, which is arguably worse than what the situation would be at a normal left turn lane. But the debate in the state Senate did not go in Holtzapfel's favor, with NJ Dot saying that Jughandles are still helpful, and one state senator from Camden cautioning that the New Jersey Department of Transportation has not yet found a good enough plan or alternative. Yeah, it's such a shame we don't yet have a viable alternative to the Jughandle. If only there existed some sort of tried and tested bit of road infrastructure that not only improved traffic flow, but reduced accidents and made life safer for pedestrians. Sadly, we just don't know any other possible ways to... Oh, what's behind me? Oh, this right here is the brand new Carneys Point roundabout, down the road from where I tragically went to community college. Back when I commuted here, these roads met at a really awkward angle, resulting in very poor visibility and an above average number of car accidents. Since then, this intersection has been replaced with a modern roundabout in 2020. And just look at this thing. We've got traffic calming measures coming in this way. See how the road is narrowing as it approaches the roundabout, which will cause traffic to naturally slow. We've also got pedestrian islands all the way around, so pedestrians have a place to stop while they're trying to cross the road. And we've got full-on sidewalks along the entire thing. And as you can see, as opposed to the previous iteration of this intersection, traffic now keeps moving. So as a driver, that means no more waiting needlessly at stop signs. Watch as this car comes up and he's just gonna carry on through. Okay, no, maybe not everyone in Jersey fully understands the roundabout. Hey, she took her time. She was in no rush. She could have gone, but she was fine. Now, you don't have to wait at the stop sign. You can just keep on well, since you see you need to keep going. Sadly, not a lot of people in New Jersey seem to understand the basic concept of give way to enter, and if you're in the roundabout, you have right of way. What we're left with here is a very modern roundabout, which not only makes the area look so much better, but as roundabout statistics do show, makes the area so much safer for all road users, as roundabouts actually cut serious and fatal crashes by 80% versus stop signs and signalized crossings due to the lack of high-speed right-angle collisions, or T-bones. So why doesn't New Jersey replace the confusing and increasingly outdated Jughandle with the more modern roundabout? Well, sadly, a lot of New Jerseyans live in New Jersey. Behind me is a 6-point intersection in Salem County that ranked the highest for the number of crashes in the county between the years of 2014 and 2016. A proposal was drawn up in 2020 to replace this convoluted mess of roads with a modern roundabout. However, the locals on Facebook had this to say. All right, give it to me, Fran. Why don't they put traffic lights up? Route 40 roundabout is so dangerous, especially in the summer. Oh, sorry, Fran, Route 40 doesn't have a roundabout. No one actually calls it that either. It's a traffic circle. Traffic circles are, yes, very dangerous. I have made a video about this on why a lot of American roundabouts are dangerous. Spoilers, it's because they're not roundabouts. They are traffic circles, a very different bit of infrastructure. Next up, we got Christine. Roundabouts are dangerous. People don't know how to navigate them at all. Roundabouts, as backed by statistics, are not as dangerous, and their design is as intuitive as stay on the road, or put the star shape in the star hole, which I'm fairly certain most locals here can figure out. But some people still don't understand how a roundabout works. As you see, you need to keep going. Maybe eventually. In terms of how you're actually meant to use a roundabout, if you didn't know, if you're in the roundabout, you have the right of way. You keep going, that's fine. Don't stop in the roundabout. However, if you're coming into a roundabout, you must yield or give way to traffic in the roundabout. It's that simple. It's really that easy. Unlike the convoluted hawk beacon, which many American cities have been placing within their towns, including Ocean City, New Jersey, which I have made an entire video about. They're much, much worse. Those are actually dangerous for pedestrians. You know what those are? They're people that walk. And then finally, we've got Carl. All the safety crap in the world is not going to correct the problem. We have an abundance of both stupid people and distracted drivers. Changing the roads doesn't deal with the true problem. The roads are fine. People are what need to change. I'm no expert. Yeah, you're telling me, Carl. Even with all the data and science and statistics in the world, non-experts like Carl will be the first ones to throw their hands up and go, oh, we can't change the one thing we can change. Let's try and change the other things that we can't. Well, actually, genuine question. Which do you think is harder or easier to change? The design of a road or people's minds? Changing everyone's minds or the way that a road goes? It's a tough question. I guess we can't do anything about it. You might be surprised to find out, if you listen to some experts, that proper road design can actually decrease distracted driving. When you're on these wide country roads, you're more likely to be distracted when you get too comfortable on them. The whole point of proper road design is to understand that human psychology is flawed and you can't change people's minds. So the best that we can do is make it more difficult for people to be distracted and make it more difficult for people to get in accidents. Why would we not want to do that? Mate, that's a case of a Pennsylvania driver who does not understand what the blinking yellow means, which is why a roundabout would make more sense. So just to describe what's happening here, this road here is signalized with a flashing yellow and the other 4 are actually flashing red. At the flashing yellow, that means cars do not have to stop, they just keep going. However, a lot of times people aren't used to it and so they end up stopping at the yellow, which people aren't used to behind them because they're not supposed to, and that can cause, well, accidents and a couple of the Jersey fingers out the window. The thing is, roundabouts do have a higher initial cost to install compared to the alternatives, but so do toilets over the alternatives of outhouses and chamber pots. There's no doubt if Facebook existed back in Victorian times, there'd be a Victorian version of Carl posting, "Ain't no point in installing a toilet in your house, that's just a waste of money. Just gonna throw my shit out the window just like everybody else. People are always gonna throw this shit out the window. That's what people do. People can't change. In the long run, roundabouts definitely pay for themselves. But I guess if you're someone that doesn't place a value on human life, then maybe not. So if you don't care if your mother, your brother, your partner, your friend dies in an accident, well, yeah, I guess roundabouts are too expensive. At this point, there isn't really a lot we can do more to stop people from being distracted while driving, but what we can do is change the infrastructure to make the consequences of those distracted drivers a little bit less dangerous. That is one way we can actually make America great again. And if you wanted to put your money where your mouth is, you'd be voting to install roundabouts at every unsafe junction in your town. But it's an American argument as old as time. It's not the guns that are killing all the school children. No, it's the people. It's a mental health problem, and that's just a problem that we can't seem to solve, and no other country seems to have solved that problem either. So I guess we'll just deal with what we have. That's right, we got dark on this one, guys. It's a logical argument that people like to make, where they just blame something that you can't change, rather than actually pointing out you can change things. You just have to try. There's a reason the #1 and #2 cause of death of children in the USA is always either death by motor vehicle crash or death by guns. The solution for the gun problem is simple, sure, it's just not being implemented. And the same can be said about the solution for the death by motor vehicle crashes. Invest in better public infrastructure for pedestrians. Invest in safer, complete streets. And invest in roundabouts at intersections where there needs to be a safer way to cross. Education and spreading the knowledge of this type of thing is really the best way of changing people's minds, so here's me at least doing my part. Because bad drivers aren't going away in any country, but bad road design? Mate, that's a decision. That is a choice. I think this chart explains a lot. The US has been building more and more roundabouts year over year, depending on the state. I can appreciate the uniqueness of the Jughandle, but good road design is supposed to be safe and intuitive, and that is where the Jughandle falls flat. You don't have to be an expert to appreciate a good roundabout, but having some passing knowledge of them might help a little bit. New Jersey gave the world the Jughandle. Maybe we should give the world something better now, like safer streets. Or a word from today's video sponsor.
If you're a big fan of traffic being safe, then you probably are also a fan of your internet traffic being safe. So am I. That's why I use today's video sponsor, NordVPN. NordVPN is the world's fastest virtual private network. Anytime you're visiting the internet, your internet service provider is able to see what sort of sites you're visiting. Well, unless you're using NordVPN, that is, because then all your ISP sees is, well, that you're using NordVPN. And Nord ain't no snitch. With one tap, I can easily change my browsing location to any of the 7,000 servers that Nord has around the world. On this recent trip, I managed to get a huge discount booking my car rental because I changed my browsing location to the UK. If you didn't know, they always offer way cheaper rental rates for Brits that are traveling to America. Why? I'm not asking questions. All I'm saying is thanks, Nord, for getting me a big discount on my car rental. Plus, hey, NordVPN is also really useful for getting around a lot of the geo-locked content that seems to be plaguing the internet these days. So if you'd like to sign up to NordVPN to experience the joys, well, sign up at nordvpn.com/Evan and you can get a huge discount on a 2-year plan. Plus, I heard they give you a little bonus, so that's quite nice. So thank you very much to NordVPN for sponsoring. Now, let me wrap this up.
I didn't actually pull away. I bet you wanted me to pull away, but thanks for watching, and I'll see you next Sunday. Goodbye. This is my swamp. This is a pretty boy. Oh, hello.